Manjusha asks Gurudev, wrongdoer argues that he is doing all this because of his past life's actions, and he does not think of not doing it at all, nor does he make any effort because he is happy to do so. How to explain to such a person that he would not do this? Manjusha. This question will be in the minds of many people sitting here. But first of all, you asked, it is good that all of them will get this answer. No action or karma compels man to do wrong things and cannot. You should bear to down in your mind of this my statement. Yes, some samskar of the past life which subtly come in this human life are responsible for this to some extent. Nature controls a flawless process that every human being is born with their samskar. No human being can get out of this inevitability. See, the mind is not a blank piece of paper. The mind is imprinted with the karma of the previous birth, which is transferred from one birth to another in the form of the samskar. Understand this thing like a nano micro simcard is recorded with all events of good and bad deeds of previous life, and when you took next human birth, then this simcard gets activated for bearing fruits of those good and bad deeds time to time. And it is amazing fact that this type of SIM card has sufficient storage capacity of all the incidents of good and bad karma of many previous births and deaths. Samskar is a type of sleeping energy or power that God controls through the planets. When the signal the SIM card or not, all this planet decides. You must have noticed that if the SIM card is out of the mobile, then it does not get signals. Then in a such situation, neither can you talk nor can you surfing. But if you put a SIM card in the mobile, then you start getting a signal from the tower, and then you can also talk and enjoy the surfing. In the same way, the karma results of the previous verse in human life, which are found in the form of the samskar, decide why such a person is doing wrong work or why such person is doing good work. God is very clever. So, on one side, God gave man the power of free will to make his arrogant, and on other side, God also assured that he can improve or spoil both the present and the future of his life, so that man cannot blame God in any way. This is different matter that man does not have freedom of enjoyment of any karma. Man is bound to karma. Man can only do karma according to their desires. This is a freedom given by God, but God did not give him the freedom of what karma he will enjoy or not in this world. But man has freedom of action. This is certain. If a person sees this and thinks that the kind of wrong work I am doing is not right, and all this is the result of my past life karma or action, then he convert the result of those bad deeds into good samskar through his thought power, will power, and good deeds. Such a person who thinks that wrong actions have been done due to his deeds is right to some extent, but this is not completely true. You will get the fruit of the karma of this birth in the next life. and the fruit of the actions of the previous births in this birth. But to sit down and accept that this is because of my deeds is the ideology of the fatalistic people. This type of thinking brings a kind of passivity and interior in your mind. This is the result of not understanding the law of karma. This is a kind of blended argument of those people. The freedom of karma that God has given us means that now we can do all those things which give the correct results. No crook can remain a crook forever. If you keep him in a good company, you will find that goodness has started to grow in him. He seems to be the right person. Our Purans tells that after coming in the contact with Narad Muni, the robber Ratnakar became Maharshi Valmiki. He composed an epic like Ramayana. We think and try. That is enough. And it is necessary. How did the child Markandeya convert his short death in a long life? First, he wished that he had to live more, then thought whether to do so that his short death turned into a long life. For this, he worked to please the Lord Shiva by worshipping him fiercely. This got what he wanted. Only then he composed Saptashati Durga. Also, it is epic. Wanting and continuous effort, only two things can bring the results. Manjusha, you can explain such a person through a cycle. Life and death are a cycle in which one has to come and go again and again to bear the fruits of the karma. A certain part of every action is added to the destiny of a human being or to that body in which the living soul is residing in the form of the samskar. That is what has to be suffered. This is law of nature. To understand the samskar, you have to take a bucket full of water and then pour the water of that bucket on the floor of a room and let it dry. After some time you will see that the water has dried up. But wherever the water has flowed out of the room, there will be an outline of the shape of the water. That is, there is a very fine impression on the floor where the water was spread. That impression is a proof that there was once water available here which is no longer there. That is, the presence of water was once there which has now changed due to over a period of time and other circumstances. Now consider water as the good or bad karma of your experienced person. Consider the impression as the result of the deeds of the previous lives received in this birth, means samskar. Now the deeper this impression is displayed, the better and worse the result you will get on the destiny of this birth. You cannot erase this impression even if you want it, because it is impossible to go from this birth to the previous life. Yes, only two can erase this impression. One is God and other is Satguru. Today, scientists are reaching on the surface of the moon and showing the evidence of water to the world in different ways. That once there was large lakes of water on the moon. So all this evidence is the samskar I am talking about. Samskar is a reason for being evidence in that way. So if someone has done bad deeds in the previous life, but does not atone for them in time, goes on doing his deeds even worse, then he will have to suffer the consequence of his sorrow. But if he gives up bad deeds and does good deeds, the result will be pleasant. Instead of being fatalistic, become an actionist and do good deeds. Choose karma with your willpower and discretion, and then action will create nature. Nature will create fortune, and then you will experience happiness and luck. God has given the freedom for action to the man, and this is mercy upon mankind. Action does not compel to do good or bad deeds in the life, but your desire, your lust, and your wicked mind will make you to do good or bad deeds in the life. So now, with discretion and willpower, we can definitely reduce the intensity of the fruits of our bad actions.